my sense is that it's happened in the last few decades, and increasingly fathers are wanting to be more involved, and there's an expectation that they're more involved in day-to-day parenting. I think it's almost a given, and most fathers I talk to are already doing that.
I wish that someone had said, you can be a good father. You know, that you do have value to add, that you're not just an appendage or a man, and being a man is a bad word. You know, or that you don't know how to. You know, that they always go to mum for that, and you think, and I think that hasn't been my experience as a parent.
Yeah.
I was the one who cuddled them. I'm the one who they might ring, or not all the time, but you know, as in, I definitely had a role to play, and I wish someone had said that you've got a role to play.
Part of preparing for birth is to both be having that conversation about, you know, what you're both hoping for birth, and really when a woman is going through birth, it really is taking all her resources. So really the father becomes the advocate. He becomes the voice for the partner in terms of making sure and, you know, ensuring that her needs and wishes are being met. So fathers in the birthing suite play a very critical role in terms of making sure that this is the birth that they both wanted, asking, again, being proactive and asking questions.
When I say support your partner, it's not just about holding their hand and helping them breathe, but it's about if there's any warning signs that you're not sure of, it's about asking those questions on behalf of your partner about, you know, why is the baby's heart rate dropping? And, you know, all those sort of things. It's not to sit back and be silent. It's also to be an advocate for your partner and your unborn child. So you have every right to question some of the things that are happening. I've seen a lot of times in my time in midwifery and obstetrics, and you're there as an advocate for your wife who could be affected by some sort of narcotic or epidural, nitrous oxide, the laughing gas, and cannot always make decisions that are, you know, done with a clear mind. So you really are there with a big responsibility, and I implore all the fathers out there to take that seriously.
Rather than seeing it as something that detracts from that attention from the woman, I think that involvement of a father enhances the whole experience for her, for the baby, and for him. So it's add value.
So when we're going into this process, this birth, this transition of fatherhood, we want it to be a positive experience, you know, and a good memory to look back on. So how do you think you could kind of make it a positive, you know, good memory to look back on? What's your job in there?
Well, I mean, I think my main job is supporting my wife, who's actually the one who's giving birth.
Yeah.
From everything I've been told and read. But I mean, that's the messages I'm getting from her as well. So being on the same page and supporting her.
Yeah, good. What kind of difference can you make? Well, the level of your positive impact is directly related to your level of positive involvement. So the more you kind of research, get involved, have those conversations that you just mentioned, that means that, you know, she's going to have confidence in you and confidence in herself, and that's where you get the best kind of impact. That's the best you can possibly be. What does the research say? Well, essentially it comes down to the more prepared you are, means the more active you can be during birth, and it's a better experience for everyone. The research also says that there's strong evidence that the safety and well-being of the whole family is supported by when there's a trusted birth partner in the room, such as yourself.
Yeah.
So a couple of questions going forward that you might want to think about. Yeah, what are you looking forward to? You know, what's less exciting? What was your dad like? These are things that will kind of begin to inspire a conversation with yourself. And another one is, what would you like your 20-year-old child to say about you?
Yeah,
and then how do you make that happen?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay.
So you can have a look at what your father did.
Yeah.
What your mother did.
Yeah.
I suggest you actually sit down with Chloe with 2 pieces of paper and you go through a process of saying, okay, well, I liked what my parents did there and I want to repeat that. And here's a list of the things I didn't really like that much. And I'm going to try and change that in my family. So that can actually have a really good process of communication where you say, I liked this part of my parents or this part of my upbringing, and Chloe will say, I like this part of my upbringing and I didn't like this, and it becomes a blueprint for the way you're going to parent your child.
That sounds really helpful.
Because
Yeah,
it gives
really
you a bit of an
handy.
insight into the other person's perspective, and you suddenly go, oh, they were brought up like that. I didn't know that about them.
Oh, like that's a really great idea.
That's a good idea, or
Oh,
I agree
that's
with
really
you.
sucks.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And the more detailed those
Yeah.
conversations can be, the more beneficial it will turn out. They've done longitudinal studies on engaged dads in comparison to non-engaged dads, and the kids of the engaged dads had better mental and physical health. They had higher school grades, better cognitive and social skills, higher self-esteem, fewer behavioural problems, increased stress tolerance, and they also exhibited less risky behaviour. How does that make you feel about everything ahead?
It makes me feel pretty good. It makes me feel like, I think that it makes me feel very empowered that that me as a dad can have such a big impact on my child's life.
Some really great dads that I've met and seen and worked with over the years. The ones that are really happy to roll up their sleeves and get right on in there. They're really happy to change the dirtiest nappy on earth. They are the ones who are sleeping when the baby sleeps during the day with mum and being able to get up during the night and support the night feeding. It's not possible for everyone, but they are taking some time in those first few weeks to be totally focused, on that, new family, and be a part of the experience, not exclude themselves. They don't show any signs or talk about feeling jealous about the baby and the relationship with mum. They're supportive of breastfeeding. They are finding ways to really just get in there and get to know their little one as much as mum is doing. I think if we can get dads to that point too, where they're feeling like that, it's a really great thing. I like to talk to mums about letting go, about how dad might be dressing the baby, for example, because we don't want a badgering new mother to be more worried about how dad's doing A, B, and C. Let them do A, B, and C. They love the baby as much as we do, and inviting that in rather than thinking for 1 second that we can do it better or whatever. It's just different, and that really brings dads right on in.
Don't worry if there are missed opportunities. Don't worry if you don't get it right each day. Don't worry if things happen that you wished hadn't happened, because you're just a normal human being and those things will happen in a normal life. And comfort yourself with the fact that there will be an opportunity. The joy of parenting, it's like a gift that keeps on giving. It's just there all the time. When your child walks in the door, it's just a buzz every time.